wherever you're listening or watching Radio Afinju. The time is 6 p.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè é o. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfínjú. Instagram. Àfínjú. Facebook. Àfínjú. Lórí X. Àfínjú. Lórí YouTube. Àfínjú. Lórí TikTok. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Ẹ bá mi pè é o. Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ 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 Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú.
Stay informed with news on Radio Afinju.
This is the world news on Radio Afinju.
First, a look at the highlights. ECOWAS to get new leader as Tinubu serves out second term. NAF first female fighter pilot wins top in Ghana Awards. U.S. judge orders release of Colombian activist Mahmoud Khalil. Good evening and welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Durotoye. The news in detail. Nigeria's tenure at the helm of the Economic Community of West African States may have come to a conclusion as President Bola Tinubu prepares to end his second term as chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government. Tinubu assumed leadership of ECOWAS and will be serving out his second term as the chairman of ECOWAS Head of States and Government at this weekend summit at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. First elected on July 9, 2023 in Guinea-Bissau and got re-elected on July 7, 2024 in Abuja. Giving a hint on the expected change of guard, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga told his colleagues at the close of the 94th Ordinary Session of ECOWAS Council of Ministers. Toga appreciated his colleagues for their support, saying the meeting may be his last as the chair of the council. The United Nations Association of Nigeria, UNAN Abuja branch, is deeply worried by the escalating insecurity across parts of the country and urgently calls on the administration of President Bola Tinubu to undertake a comprehensive overhaul and total rejig of Nigeria's security architecture to address this crisis squarely. In a statement to reporters, the coordinator, the United Nations Association of Nigeria, Abuja branch, Desmond Okocha, described the recent killings in Nigeria as inhumane acts which represent a grave violation of human rights. While acknowledging Tinubu's visit, the UN body urged swift actions to address the situation, such as establishing of military patrols in areas believed to be flashpoints. The three senators representing Osun State have appealed to President Bola Tinubu to intervene in the ongoing predicament over control of local government council areas in Osun State. The senators, Francis Fadaunsi, Olubiyi Fadeyi and Oyewumi Kamorudin, members of the People's Democratic Party, opined that the president's intervention could be a way out of the crisis. In a statement issued and signed by the three lawmakers and made available to newsmen in Osogbo today, they said the ordinary people residing at the grassroots were at the receiving end of the crisis, hence the need for the intervention. The Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Olufemi Shonaye, has resigned from his position. Shonaye announced his departure in a Facebook post, thanking his colleagues for their support over the past 20 months. He described his time at the NNPCL as an honor, saying he was proud to have contributed to the transformation of the national oil company. Shonaye pledged to remain a steadfast supporter and ambassador of the company and urged media professionals to continue their robust, balanced and constructive reportage in support of NNPCL's mission. Appointed on October 18, 2025, Shonaye replaced Garba Mohammed, who was appointed in August 2021 during a management reshuffle. The Adamawa State Police Command said its personnel have arrested 2 armed robbery suspects and recovered a stolen vehicle. Spokesman of the command, Suleiman Durotoye, in a statement, said operatives from Yodepate Divisional Police Headquarters, led by Abdullahi Abubakar, acted on credible information which led to the success recorded. The suspects, identified as Emmanuel Saleh, 28 years, and Jibrila Hassan, 36 years, both residents of Sabongari, Jalingo, were apprehended and the stolen vehicle was successfully recovered. The Commissioner of Police, Dan Kombo Morris, while recommending the officers for their swift action, directed that the case be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Yola, for further discreet investigation and diligent prosecution. Elsewhere, Nigeria's first female fighter pilot, Kafayat Sani, has again made history by emerging as the best allied student and winner of the Best Assistant Commandant paper at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, GAFCSC, Accra. The awards were presented during the college's graduation ceremony attended by top military officials and dignitaries from across Africa. Sani's impressive records first made headlines in 2019 when she was decorated as the Nigerian Air Force's first female fighter pilot after completing her pilot training in the United States. Since then, she has flown the Alpha jet as well as undertaken training sorties on the Super Mushak as a prolific instructor pilot, producing and mentoring younger pilots for the NAF. In Asia, Pakistan said it would recommend U.S. President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, an accolade that he said he craves for his work in helping to resolve the recent conflicts between India and Pakistan. Some analysts in Pakistan said the move might persuade Trump to think again about potentially joining Israel in striking Iran's nuclear facilities. Pakistan has condemned Israel's actions as a violation of international law and a threat to regional stability. In May, a surprise announcement by Trump of a ceasefire brought an abrupt end to a 4-day conflict between nuclear-armed foes, India, and Pakistan. Trump has since repeatedly said that he averted a nuclear war, saved millions of lives, and grumbled that he got no credit for it. Pakistan agrees that U.S. diplomatic intervention ended the fighting, but India says it was a bilateral agreement between the two militaries. In Europe, President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on Ukraine's Western partners to allocate 0.25% of their GDP to helping Kyiv ramp up weapons production and said the country plans to sign agreements this summer to start exporting weapon production technologies. In remarks released for publication by his office today, Zelensky said Ukraine was in talks with Denmark, Norway, Germany, Canada, the United Kingdom and Lithuania to launch joint weapon production. Still in Europe, a super yacht has been raised from the seabed nearly a year after it sank off the coast of Sicily, killing 7 of the 22 people on board. Italian officials said the luxury yacht, known as the Bayesian, would be held up by a crane for a series of inspections requested by the Public Prosecutor's Office. It will later be fully removed from the water. The Bayesian was owned by British tech tycoon Mike Lynch, who died in the incident alongside his 18-year-old daughter Hannah and 5 others. An ongoing investigation last month found that Lynch and the crew were unaware of some of the boat's vulnerabilities, including that wind speeds of over 73 mph could topple it. The vessel is expected to be taken to the nearby port of Termini Imerese on Monday, where Italian prosecutors investigating the sinking are based. In the Americas, Columbia University graduate and activist Mahmoud Khalil has been released on bail after more than 3 months in detention. The activist said the Trump administration chose the wrong person to target in its crackdown on student protesters. A federal judge ruled that the Palestinian was not a flight risk or threat to his community and could be released as his immigration proceedings continue. Khalil was a prominent voice in Colombia's pro-Palestinian protests last year, and his 8th March arrest sparked demonstrations in New York and Washington, D.C. The government has argued his activism impedes on U.S. foreign policy and moved to have him deported. Layoff notices have been sent to 639 employees of Voice of America and the United States agency that oversees it, effectively shutting down the outlet that has provided news to countries around the world since World War II. The notices sent included employees at VOA's Persian language service who were suddenly called off administration leave last week to broadcast reports to Iran following Israel's attack. According to one fired employee, 3 journalists working on the Persian service who left their office for a cigarette break had their badges confiscated and weren't allowed back in. Trump's senior advisor to the agency, Kari Lake, said a total of 1,400 people at VOA and the U.S. Agency for Global Media, or 85% of its workforce, have lost their jobs since March, adding that it was part of a long overdue effort to dismantle a bloated, unaccountable bureaucracy. In the Middle East, the Israeli military says it has eliminated Behnam Shahriyari, the second Iranian commander in the elite Quds force of the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, to be targeted in Israeli strikes overnight. In a statement earlier today, the Israel Defense Forces said the Israeli the Israeli Air Force killed Shahriyari in his vehicle while he was traveling in western Iran. It said Shahriyari was responsible for weapons transfers from Iran to its proxies across the Middle East and worked for years to arm various militant organizations. Shahriyari is sanctioned by the United States and, according to the UK government, has been involved in hostile activity by an armed group backed by the Iranian government, facilitating the destabilization of Israel, Iraq, Yemen, and Lebanon. The Quds Force is an arm of the IRGC responsible for operations outside Iran and is tasked with coordinating with allied militant groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. Earlier on, the IDF said it killed Saeed Izzadi, another Iranian commander in the Quds Force. Iran has said it will not resume talks over its nuclear program while under attack, hours after Israel's defense minister warned of a prolonged conflict with the Islamic Republic. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met European diplomats in Geneva who urged him to revive diplomatic efforts with the U.S. over his country's nuclear program. The Israeli Army's Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, said in a video address that his country should be ready for a prolonged campaign. Fighting has raged into the night, with the Israeli military announcing a new wave of attacks against Iranian missile storage and launch sites after Iran launched missiles towards central Israel. Now talking sports. Chelsea collapsed to a 3-1 loss against Flamengo at the Club World Cup as Nicolas Jackson was shown a straight red card only 4 minutes after coming on as a substitute. Enzo Maresca's side appeared to be in control of the game after Pedro Neto's breakaway opening goal in the first half, but substitute Bruno Henrique's second half leveller sparked an implosion. Chelsea fell behind moments after the equalizer when former Manchester City defender Danilo punished more poor defending, and Jackson's red card came just 3 minutes later as he recklessly planted his studs on Aiton Lucas's shin. Canelo Alvarez feels fight with Terence Crawford is going to be one of the best fights in history ahead of Las Vegas clash on September 13th. Despite much speculation that the fight will take place in Saudi Arabia, the Canelo-Crawford bout has been confirmed for September 13th in Las Vegas. However, the pair arrived in Riyadh to start a promotional tour.
This is all about, I want to make history, and I'm very excited for this fight. He's not going to beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not going to beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be in the books of the history of boxing for sure. That's for sure.
For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but
it's gonna be
difficult. You take it to your
I'm taking them. And ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight night.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
But look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't look different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You gonna see.
We'll
you know
see.
it.
We'll see.
We gonna see.
Crawford, who is from Omaha, Nebraska, attended that bout, and the 4-division champion, who is 41-0, announced in the ring with Alvarez that they would meet in September. Alvarez shrugged off the mantle of favorite in their promotional press conference. Crawford was unfazed by the challenges of moving up the weights to make his challenge and silence any doubters. Before we go, here again are the highlights. Nigeria's tenure at the helm of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, may have come to a conclusion as President Bola Tinubu prepares to end his second term as chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government. Elsewhere, Nigeria's first female fighter pilot, Kafayat Sani, has again made history by emerging as the best allied student and winner of the Best Assistant Commandant paper at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, GAFCSC, Accra. And in the Americas, Columbia University graduate and activist Mahmoud Khalil has been released on bail after more than 3 months in detention. That was all news on Radio Afinju. To view our channel, please follow Radio